news. No play for me. Thanks for the info. Yeah. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Saturday. Just getting my day started here. A little late morning on Saturday. Give some people the time to get in the lives. We got one in the live. Let us know what games you want to talk about. We got the tool revved up and ready to go. I was sifting through there this morning. Looks like we do finally. There's some underplays that we can look at here. Kent State is one I will be eyeing. Already at a 2% edge here. And if we can shop the price and get a 105, we might be able to get our 3% edge that we are always looking for. So let's get it fired up, guys. What games are you watching today? What games are you going to be firing on? Clemson. All right, Matthew, if you don't mind, I'm gonna just look into this Kent State bet real quick, if you don't mind, and then we'll do Clemson. All right, does that work? Good morning to you as well. I'm just sipping on my little coffee. Yeah, that's good. That's good. My wife is running a half marathon right now, which God bless her. She's a avid runner, and I've gone to 95% of all of her races, but just feeling a little bit off this week. So rooting on with her in spirit and with y'all today. All right, let me just so we make it 136. We want to target a 139 or better. Look at this 141 over at Pinnacle. Sometimes I wish I had access there. Yeah, look, I can't bet this, unfortunately. DraftKings won't take a bet from me larger than $2. Pretty unfortunate. Dang. Bravada would be also another potential spot for me. No vig. I might have to head over there. Huh. Yeah, this is the kind of market manipulation I've been talking about. I bet you these moves were off of less than $1,000. And I could just try to zoom in. I know my camera is over this. There you go. So you could see it open at 137, move to 139.5 with basically two bets. Someone bet the over 137, they moved it to 138. Someone bet the 138, they moved it to 139.5. Oh, there you go. The market's moving here for me. There's action marking right now as we speak. So 139. So here we go. So I can get a 140 over at I can get a 140 over at Caesars, or I can get a 139.5. I can get a 141 now minus 115. So how would I decide? You may ask, like, well, how do you decide? We have to get these updated, but we have our calculators. We'll have to add college basketball sides and totals. Right now we just have sides, but we have a total framework which we'll add to the calculator. I'm just pulling it up here. I think probability calculator. Probability grid. Total probability grid. So we make this number 136. So 136, and we could bet a 140. A 140 and 136 is a 55%, and a 139 and a 136. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. 140, 136. 140, 54.7. And what did we say this was? 140, 30. Yeah, so we get a good bump here. So for me, I think I'm gonna go with this Caesars. Just checking. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Caesars 140, under 140 over at Caesars. So just bear with me while I get this thing down. Assuming it's a legitimate number. Sometimes that's the downside. I got kicked. Wow, okay. You got actually kicked out. From my understanding, they can't, they're not legally okay. They can kick you out if you break their rules, right? But if you don't break their rules, my understanding is that they can't just kick you out. So just some food for thought there. So I don't know what exactly the details are, but if you didn't break the rules, consider appealing. But they probably will just limit you anyways. Limiting is their way around. So again, like they can't discriminate. So kicking you out, doing these things, if you just win, that's considered discrimination. So limiting you is their answer to the question, which is if you're winning, they just limit you. So they're not kicking you out. They're just not taking a bet that's basically worth anything. So it is what it is. All right. Kent State. Is Kent State under 140? It's real. All right. Wish me luck. Caesars is the one app I don't think I've ever won on. Actually, I bet a lot on them early season college basketball, college football, and then nothing. Okay, let's get to Clemson, Matthew. Hopefully you're still with us. Game, team, Clemson. Boom. We're gonna roll on down to Funky Town. All right, and then they play Duke. So I like to do it by game then once I know. So Clemson Duke. All right, Clemson Duke. It's right here. Hopefully you can see it. I'll zoom in a little bit for you. Hopefully, there you go. Make it in the middle of the screen. All right, Clemson Duke. We make this number 6. Looks like there's a small play on the money line here. If you want to be a Duke backer, anything better than 154 would be about a 2% edge or better. Currently paying for the model. Shout out, Matthew. Okay, damn. Hell yeah, man. Thanks for the support. Really do appreciate it. Let's shop this for you. I don't know. Are you wanting to be? I'm assuming you went when you say Clemson game. To me, that probably means you're wanting to be a Clemson backer here. Is that the case? Let's look behind the hood here a bit. I'm excited for when this rolls out next week when we'll have the consensus score. But for now, I can look at this for you. It's no big deal. All right, so 9 from Evan, 6 from KenPom, 6 from 6.6. We'll round that up to 7 from Bart Torvik. So to be honest, pretty much none of the models really like Clemson. The best you're going to get is a push here with KenPom. Obviously, you're not betting for the push. So I don't know, Matthew. Are you open-minded for a Duke bet here? Because what I was saying is let's shop the Duke. Let's shop this Duke bet. 5.5. Look at that. 5.5. Expensive 5.5. A little less expensive 5.5 over here. And the calculator does work for that. So I'm going to open that up here. BTB. So if you go to this calculators page up here for spreads, it does work for spreads. So if you 5.5, you said you couldn't bet on DraftKings, so this is probably a moot point, but we think the number 6, you can bet yeah, it's slight EV. I don't know. This is just Just lack of knowledge. It is what it is. Yeah. So I don't know. Clemson or Matthew, what do you think? What are you thinking? Shout out. We got 2 other people in here. What do you guys want to talk about? What games you want to talk about? What games you want to talk about? The viewing experience, is this pleasurable to you guys? I'm assuming, this is helpful because we can zoom in, you can see the tool. The TikTok live experience is just leaves a lot to be desired. Let's I'm just kind of get my day started. So let's take a look. I did bet a Texas minus 106. I think there's a key injury in that game, which sucks. Which is, again, this stuff, this market is really difficult to bet into because because of the injury news. To be honest, that's why I've been really trying to just focus on unders. If there's an injury and there's a value on the under, that's good news. There's going to be really rare situations where like a really good defensive player is the one that's injured and that's causing the game to go over. Can those situations happen? 100%, but they're rare. Wow, Alabama. There's some value on this Alabama game, guys. Should we we can get some under action on a big matchup for today? Alabama. Look at this. I got my Alabama mug. I don't know if you guys can see it. Does it say Alabama on that side? No, it doesn't. There you go. Alabama. Is it a sign? Is it a sign, guys? Alabama. But not a lot. Don't roll a lot. Alabama. What do we want? We're going for a 164.5. 164.5. Very widely available. I can get it at 105 over at MGM. 165. What's going on in the market maker? So they're sitting at 165. So betting happened at 164. 164.5. So the best number, I don't have a Bet365 account. So it looks like the best number I can get is 164 minus 105, which would bump me up here. 54% minus 105. 0.54 minus 105 divided by 205 is 2.7% edge. So not quite my 3%. Not quite my 3% edge. So maybe I'll wait a little bit for that. Sorry, my bank blocked the purchase, switching to PayPal. Currently paying for the model. Oh, you were about to sign up. Shout out, Matthew. Shout out. Hopefully you find it useful. That's the whole goal. I do appreciate the support, but make sure first and foremost it's going to be useful to you. Yeah, we're right there. But these big total games, man. These are tails. These are not normal games. I'm assuming neither of these teams play defense, and it's just really crazy shooting. You're gonna have to be betting a lot of the medians, a lot of the tails. I'm sorry, the healthy medium or the healthy middle of that distribution is, because they're gonna have a lot of variance around high shooting percentage, right? Especially if they shoot a lot of threes, you're gonna have high variance nights where they go way over, way under. What's Evan got this game or Hasla? What's this thing? Gotcha. Alabama, Arkansas. I do love my mom and pa. Not as much as I love you. That's true. Whoops, 79.36. 163. So he's much closer to the market. but he's still under that 164 number. I don't know. Kind of want to stay away. I don't think it's big enough edge. I was looking at this one last night. Minnesota Gophers. Golden Gophers. So what am I looking for? Minnesota 145.5. 146. I can get a one minus 105. What's the market at? Wow, 147. Jesus. Interesting. 145.5. 143, 145, 143.6. It's not going to be quite, still doesn't meet my criteria. Eureka, we're in. Hell yeah, Matthew. Get on in there. Get to betting. Hopefully you like what you see, man. Hopefully you like what you see. Hopefully this is a good view and a good segue for you. All right, we got 3 people in here. What do you all want to talk about, including Matt? But Matt's got the tool now, so he can get in there. But if you have any questions, just let us know. What games? All right, let's filter by money line percentage. These can get kind of wonky, to be honest, because we have now added, we are regressing to the market here, so you're not gonna you're not gonna get too crazy. You're not gonna see anything wild. Look at this Kansas game. Kansas is a team, one of the teams that I've bet on that actually can win and cover. They're playing Kansas State. This is a rivalry game. What's the market kind of done with this? I'm curious. So this opened for Kansas sitting at 3.5, 4.5. So open at 4.5, down to 3.5, kind of bounced in between. When were these moves? So last night, and then an early morning move or late move here from 4. So someone bought the plus 4. What are we kind of working with here? All right, so 5, 5, and 4 and 7. So we would support that. Our model and our numbers are really leaning towards the spread here. That 3.5 number. What can we do? Let's see what we can get. What can we get in the market? 3.5. See, you're kind of getting a premium. You got to pay a premium for that 3.5, which is, to be honest, just not worth it. This is probably as good as it's going to get. These two right here, minus 3.5, minus 110. Yeah, but to be honest with you, that's just not enough. That's where this 1% edge is. 52.38 is break even at 110. We need to be honest, guys, we need a 1 point. We need like a minus 105, minus 102, something like that. Dang, too many sessions. Let's restart. Shout out Unabated, one of the better, if not one of the best odd screens. Use code BTB. You can get that for free for 5 days. Try it out. See if it works for you guys. Something really imperative, to be honest. But there are free versions. Action Network has a free version. So don't hesitate to use that. Kansas money line here. Yeah, I think so whoever's one of my business partners is doing the same type of analysis right now. So shout out to them, as they're thinking things through. Bravada here looks minus 160, looks to be the best number. No VIG here, 172, 175. What do we say? What were we saying here? Matthew, did you get you got a discount code, correct, when you signed up? You should have been able to get a discount code for live 15 or live 20. So please do make sure that is the case. Oh yeah, looking at moved again. It moved again. Here, let's what I can do is I can restart this thing. We'll pull in the most up-to-date odds here. So this thing was just updated. Look, it was just updated now. So our code in Python is running every 5 minutes and pulling in the most up-to-date numbers. So what we do is we have an odds API. It looks like this, but in an API version where it's pulling in odds, and it's got multiple odds for multiple games. So we're taking the median of the forecast and the median of the price, and that's how we come up with our market price. So the current money line, the current spread is from the median of all of those books. Now, those are going to be a reflection of the market making books, to be frank with you. And that's how it goes. And then that code is grabbing those odds every 5 minutes. And so now there's some nuance to that, as you can imagine. Sometimes the odds don't change, so there's nothing to pull. But you can understand that that's what's going on, and it allows us to get new and refresh numbers. And so that's why you'll see the numbers change throughout the day, because the market's changing throughout the day, right? As people buy and sell teams, so does the price change, and that's what's going on. So we'll pull in those most up-to-date odds now. Okay, cool. Are you using Python or R code? This is all built in Python. All this scraper is in Python, and then it runs through a Shiny app. Glad you got code CBB20. That is right, Nas. CBB20 gets you 20% off the tool. I think it brings it around $150-ish there for all season. So for the rest of the season and March Madness, I'm telling you guys, we built this thing. I built a really crude Word version of this Excel version of this last season, and I used it to bet college basketball in March Madness. I cleaned up. I had a ton of CLV, ton of profit. So 150, I think is a really good and competitive price for something like this. I hope you guys enjoy it. Code CBB20 to get 20% off. We got some more questions from Matthew. Do you ever see any advantage to using Python over Excel? Personally, I can't code in Python. I can barely code in R. I build all my NFL and college basketball or college football models in SAS. When I went to grad school, that's what I learned. And the problem is SAS is nowhere near as powerful as R or Python. And so we have to hire out a lot of this stuff. So this was all built by a colleague that we hired. I think it turned out pretty well. We have some things we need to add, some things that we need to work through. So, we're very open-minded to those things. So if you have something in mind that you think can improve the tool, just shoot us an email. We would love the feedback if it's feasible. Someone asked us if we could add a tracking system, build out a whole app to track bets. For those things, you'll have to use Pickett or BetStamp. There are places that are going to be able to do that for you. But one thing I want to say is Excel is extremely powerful. Excel is extremely powerful. I work in a Fortune 50 industry. The models that sometimes we will use and build for huge multi-billion-dollar assets are in Excel. So Excel is extremely powerful, especially if you're a power user. It is just as powerful. It's just the nuance. The thing that Python and R have that the others don't is API access, right? Getting access to things like NFL FastR, CFB FastR, Hooper, these types of packages of data. All right, what games you guys want to talk about? What games you want to talk about? We got 3 people in the live. I think we're going live right now over on TikTok. I don't know. Is there any overbets? These small overbets. Okay, Notre Dame. Anybody know of some injuries going on in the Notre Dame game? Notre Dame, Virginia Tech. This is the problem with betting the overs. You have to vet that there's no injuries, because if you don't vet the injuries, then you're fucked. Because that alone is what could be driving the value. So you got to always ask yourself. You got to ask yourself that question. So we're trying to get a 133.5 over 133.5. Which looks to be readily available at -110, but I think we would need a plus 100 or something like this. Yeah, this open at 137. Wow. Didn't catch that. Didn't catch that open. That would be a good open. That would have been a good open. 137 is over 137. Never mind. That would be a horrible bet. We're basically getting like 4 point. We're at this point, we're at the bottom of the price, right? 137 is where it opened. Now at 133.5. We want to bet the over. Our forecast for that game is 136. So like we were really close to the open, basically. 136, 137. Let's see what the forecast is for this game. Notre Dame, our models are at 138, 140, 139. So yeah, we're kind of at the point where we're getting like, what is this? This probably averages out to 139. Let's call that. We regress this number. But yeah, we're talking like our median distribution's like 6 points different. But is there a key injury? Do you see any advantage using Python over Excel? All right. We got 4 people in the live. What game do you guys want to talk about? Come on, let's get the lives. Let's get the chat going. Anybody know of any injuries in this Notre Dame game? This Notre Dame game over 136. Over 133.5. We make the number 136. Could be a play. I'm not seeing the correct pricing though. We would need at least 133 minus 107. I don't think is going to get us there. Unfortunately. Now at 133 over at Pinnacle. Scott as low as 131. Wow. Yeah, I would have taken a 131. When was that? It was just like an hour ago. All right, what do you guys want to talk about? What are you going to talk about? We got the feed ready to go this morning. It's a slow morning. What games do you guys want to talk about? We got some lurkers in here. No injuries on Twitter. Okay. All right, that's promising. We just got to be patient to get our price. We got to be patient to get our price. All right, let's just move to 106 here. So, I mean, if the good, we can do these math pretty easily. So, we think this has a cover probability given this situation. So, you need these 2 pieces of information to get this price, right? Once you have that price, you can just go and do the math yourself on, the break even probability. So, all you do is you take risk. So if it's minus 106, you have to risk 106 divided by risk plus reward. So you'll risk 106 to win 100, which is 206. And you'll have to just move this decimal place over. 2.7%. 2.7% edge at minus 106. So we need this is what we need, right? Then we'll have 4% edge. Or if we can get like a minus, like a 103. Yeah, there we get our 3% edge. Really, maybe we're right there. We just need a 5? We're right. Like 104 is basically what we'll need. We need a minus 104 and it would meet the 3% edge. Arkansas State under. Yes, I actually am on that one. I bet that one last night, I believe. Where is that one? Let's take a look. Yeah, Kent State. Or no, we didn't. We just bet that. We bet that this morning. Yeah, Kansas State under. Kansas State under does meet the threshold. So where do we say we bet that? Kansas State, Kent State. I think we bet it over at Caesars, which now is moved. It's no longer 140. Let's double check that. Yeah, 139. We would want a 140 or Bet365 has the 140 minus 110 or a cheap 105 for the 139. Let's see if we can get it. Not there. But if you're okay with a smaller edge, you still have a fairly good edge. you know, you still have this 2% edge. This assumes, I don't know what this is assuming. That's assuming, yeah, no, this is assuming a minus 110 price, basically. I know you said, Matthew, you can't grab the 108. That wouldn't be bad. Bet Rivers has a 108. Oh no, that's 138. So don't bet that. Yeah, 139 minus 110 is not a bad bet. It's not a bad bet. Yeah. So, but I am on the Arkansas State under minus 140. That is a play. Now, hold on. I did bet Texas last night. I can get out of it. There's an injury in that game. I want to look at this game really quick. Texas is playing Vanderbilt. So it's down here somewhere. Texas Vanderbilt. All right, move back to 2.5. It looks like. Let's take a look at this. I bet this last night. Texas spread plus 2.5 minus 106. But I think there's a key injury in that game. Yeah, so it's now 102. So I have a 106, 102. So the market's done a little bit of buying, right? No, not really. This market really hasn't moved. 3 bought back to 2.5. Threes, 2s, back to 3s. So all right, we'll be patient. All right, Matthew's got some questions. What's going on with Robert's money line? Yeah, what I suspect here is I'm going to filter this, and it's going to have a high, huge edge, and it's because the current price it's getting pulled in. Yeah, exactly. So what's happening here is, and this is a bug we're going to fix. It's happening here as well. Is these odds when he converts them? So these need to be converted from odds to probability, right? And the way you do that is like we were talking about before. If it's negative, you do risk. So, if you want to convert 377.5 to a percentage, you would do 377.5 divided by 477.5, right? Because you need to risk 377.50 to win $100, and it'll be 79%. And then you'll take 79% and you'll subtract it via our probability to win. And sorry, I'm doing a lot of math, but I'm trying to show y'all. So, and that's how you get this edge right here. Right? Well, what happens is in these games where the game is really tight, like really small spreads, is that the odds are a combination of plus and minus. So like he has like, someone's got it priced at like plus 102. The other book has it priced at minus 102. Well, when he averages these, he ends up with this negative number, and these negative numbers then get subtracted. So he has negative 0.05 minus 23%. Well, that's how you get this big number. So what it is here, and I'll show you behind the scenes. Watch. So Oral Roberts. Come on now. Oral Roberts right here. Let me go over to the money line. What you're going to see here is see. So one book here. Well, it's really, this is the issue. Plus 100. What math do you do? So because it'll flip flop between positive and negative, basically. So long story short, and so plus 100 is throwing his shit for his math equation for a loop in our Python code, and that's what's happening here. So we'll need to fix it, but basically disregard. All it really means is it's 50%, right? But if the negative makes it negative 50%, which then gives you this math. The money lines are a little bit trickier to harness. Right now we have some work to do in the money line category. Like things like this are fine, but yeah, these are clear errors. This Southern Utah game probably has an injury we're not aware of. But you should, at this point, you should probably see. These are not these are not errors in our numbers. These are errors in how the math's getting calculated, if that makes sense. But again, you have this piece of information, so you know what we forecast the number to be. So as long as you have this information, you can go and convert the money line and say, okay, well, is this a good bet or a bad bet? The thing is, we know it's a bad bet. Like if we only think this thing wins 23% of the time, but the market thinks it wins, well, it's a whole thing right now. So I would just focus on these 3% edges, which brings me to the question: should we bet Kansas money line against Kansas State? I really don't I don't really like betting on sides, to be honest, but these money line spots seem to be not bad, especially if you get the right teams. Although, let's take a look at the spread. If we can get that 3.5 minus 105 number, like that is actually would be sexy, sexy, sexy. See, so when people talk about trap lines, guys, this is good education. This is what a trap line is right here. See how the number is not a trap, the price is a trap, right? Why? Because if we go to the market making books, what the market making books are saying is the fair price should be minus 110 for a 3.5. Look, you can get Kansas minus 3.5, minus 104 at Pinnacle, right? And they'll take a $5,000 bet from a professional right now. What they do is they want to they have the information of where their people are betting. And so what they'll do is they'll take a bet that is the fair price should be minus 110 for both these teams, but they'll actually just take the amount of VIG and they'll put it more on the side of where their clients are betting. So why is that a big deal? So if you were laying 110, look at this math. If you're laying 110, your break even is 52.38, right? That's how often you have to be right. But if you lay 115, you have to be right a whole 1.1% more often. So it doesn't feel like a big deal. Oh, it's just minus 115. Yeah, what that means is you have to be right a whole extra percent. You need to now be right 53.5% of the time. That's really hard to do, guys. That's really hard to do, especially when you're not betting with a model and you're just betting with intuition. It's super difficult to do that. So that's as close to a quote unquote trap that they can set. Why? Because they don't know what the price should be. The market is what's telling them what the price should be. These three books are how they derive what the number should be. There's not a Wizard of Oz character telling them what the number should be. And so they take this information and then they price it. All right, what games do you guys want to talk about? You think I should get out of this Texas bet? Just cash out? I can take a small loss, like a 10% loss. I don't watch these games. I don't pay attention to college basketball enough. Like there was an injury. I got trapped. So I kind of don't really want to be in the bet, to be frank. Never cash out. Why, Matthew? That's a bit much. All right, let's look at some spreads. So where are you guys thinking about putting your money? Matthew, what kind of jumps out on you? This is a DGen bet. You know, the boys at the bar here. Alabama to cover the 5, but go under. Woo, that'll pucker you. That'll get you going. That'll get you a round of fireballs. I don't know. Why is this Kansas bet kind of sticking out to me on the money line? Minus 175. $170 over at Caesars. You see how inflated the numbers are? So here's what basically the current, when we, like, think of this as like the market price. Like, this is currently where professionals can go. Any professional in the world can bet here, and you can bet these numbers. Do you see how inflated they are on the retail books? They're adding, they're adding in the direction of Kansas, because that's where their clients are going to bet. So they basically effectively raise the break even percentage. The overall hold is the same in the market, but they shift the hold in the favor of where their clients are betting. Like, look at this. 195 at Bet Rivers for a bet that the fair price is 170. I mean, you're laying 25 cents extra. I mean, that's really bad, right? And it takes a good bet and makes it a bad bet. This at this number at minus 195, this is not a good bet. Like, this is a bad bet. This is now a negative EV bet. So that's why price is everything, guys. That's why this tool allows you to kind of work through that kind of stuff. All right. Come on, guys. Let's talk about what games. I know you boys are betting. I know the boys are betting today. Big Saturday slate, middle of Saturday. I'm in Arizona. The weather is popping. We got Waste Management. We got the Super Bowl tomorrow. What games do you all want to talk about? Virginia Tech, Notre Dame. I really kind of want to get down on this over. It doesn't look like Matthew's been in the chat helping us. There's no injuries, but I need a 133.5 minus 105 to bet the total. And it's just not there yet. 133.5 minus 105. There's a minus 108. Rivers has a minus 106, which is the closest. We need a minus 104. Can we get this game? When does it start? This is an 11 a.m. game. So this starts in 2 hours. Wait. Oh, 11 a.m. Eastern. Sorry. Or Mountain Standard. I'm like, what? Doesn't so what? Games start at 12? So the games are going to be starting here in an hour. We got 5 people hanging out with us on the YT. Yo, how y'all doing? Come on, let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I know you don't love trends, but Notre Dame 4-8 to the under when facing teams allowing more than 72 points per game. Yeah, I don't know. The reason I don't like trends, Matthew, is because they don't mean anything. There's nothing inherent about there's nothing about this trend that makes it mean it'll continue, right? Flip a coin 12 times. You won't get 50-50. So we know the true distribution of flipping a coin is 50-50, and we don't get 50-50 in a small sample. What's that phenomenon? That phenomenon is called variance. And variance and sample size are inversely proportional. That's why you don't want to really use trends. There's that. And then there's 2, which is a trend. You don't know if it's causal. Most trends I see are not causal. There's nothing causal about this, in my opinion, which is they're 4-8 to the under, which again, I'm actually trying to bet the over. Right. So if anything, this would be, or maybe that's what you're trying to highlight. But there's nothing like, okay, so they're 4-8 to the under when facing teams allowing more than 72. So you're basically saying that when they go against bad defenses at some X threshold, which is arbitrary, that it'll go over. It's more associated with going over. Okay, that kind of makes sense. But then you go, well, but remember, you're betting into a market. You don't think the market knows this? You don't think the models that people are using are using how many possession? They're even using a better and more predictive thing than points per game, which is efficiency per 100 possessions. And so that's kind of the logic behind it. It's not like just a blanket, we don't like trends. That's why we don't like trends. Kevin's saying Had closer to normal TikTok. Shout out Kevin for going live. Double dip. I went double dipped yesterday and it was okay. If you want to join in here, Kevin, let me know. We can talk about some games. I think I want to stay off TikTok. I think the viewing live experience here is just 10 times better. I was trying to figure out how to get TikTok Studio, but with a Mac, it's not possible. So maybe need to go buy a PC so we can go live on both. All right. Matthew have gone 8 have gone under, 4 have gone over. Okay, gotcha. So basically saying that the trends would say don't take the bet. And I all good. My thing here is going to be all about the number. I want a 3% edge. I want a 3% edge, and if I can get a 3% edge, I will take it. All right, guys. What games we want to talk about? A team that's also seemed to be pretty hot is this Illinois team. Looks like there's value on the spread barely, and also the money line, and also the under. Another game with a trifecta. Let's see if we can shop this under. Illinois under 185. 145. We make the number 143. 143. Can we get like a Steeler price here with 143, or we can get like a 144 minus 105? Wow, yeah, 143. Is that what we 145? Okay, so there's a 146 here. 146. 146. Yeah, there's some 146s in the market, but they're priced at 110. Wow, look at this 147. That would be beautiful. No one wants to bite it. No one wants to buy it. 6 people in the live. What games you guys want to talk about? Just put them in the chat. We'll price any game, every game. We got all the Saturday slates. I think at this point we're probably even pulling in Sunday games as well. Is Ohio State in here? No, not yet. I know somebody was asking me for Ohio State yesterday. This is our new college basketball tool. Just went not live yesterday. We've been giving out. We had a free access for about 2 weeks. And yesterday the free access ended. It's now live for paid members. So they're in there, they're shopping lines, they're getting down and dirty. All right, what games y'all want to talk about? Let's just filter by where there's the biggest edge. Also, just to address this, you see these games where the spread is 0 and the market is 0, use the money line, because this is basically a money line bet, right? You're pick 'em, market's at a pick 'em, so you got to pay the money line prices. Now there are some edge cases here where we make it a pick 'em and they're favored by 1. Again, just defer to the money line. You're going to get a little bit better pricing there. So just to give you some nuance of how the table works. The biggest edge is Fort Wayne versus Green Bay. It looks like that's the biggest edge at -17. The Fort Wayne, Indiana. I lived in Indiana for a year. It was cold. Fort Wayne versus Green Bay. Our models make this 20, 16, and 20. You can get a 15.5. So all of our models actually point in that direction. What I would want to know is are there injuries? What's the market been doing on this Fort Wayne game? It's a small market game. Let's take a look at the spread. The Green Bay, we'll just search by Green Bay. That's the problem. All these different databases have different names. Yeah, IPFW is the Fort Wayne. 15.5 across the board here. This thing opened at 17 and been bought down from the market. So that would indicate to me that there could be an injury in this game. It opened right where we made the number 17. And now market has been buying Green Bay all morning. So use some caution there. UNC Greensboro, where let's try to find a big matchup, marquee matchup. Virginia going up against it looks like Georgia Tech. Virginia, we make the number 2.5. We can bet at 2.5. Market is at 3. Let's see if we can shop this bad boy. Virginia, Georgia Tech now sitting at 2. Market kind of really open. It looks like around 2, hovering around 2. You can still get a 2 over at Caesars. Yeah, our forecasts for this bad boy are 2.6, 2, and 3. Ugh. So if you can get that 2 number, it's probably not crazy. It's probably not crazy, but it's a pretty marginal edge. We think this thing covers 54% of the time at minus 110. You know, that's how you get to this. A little bit of value on the over in that game as well, which is interesting. All right, let's keep going. Alabama, a little bit of edge on Alabama here. Bigger edge on the under. I personally want to play this under 164.5, but I'm waiting to get a better price. I want to get a 140. What do I want to get? I want to get a 164.5. I need to get 164.5 minus 105. Ooh, it's not quite there. I need a little bit better. I need like 165 under. Look at the market makers, though. They made this 165, 166, and 165. So I don't really want to ignore that, right? I'm basically know that I'm getting ripped off. Any professional in the world can bet these 3 lines here. They're better numbers, and yet my menu on the retail books is, you know, not nearly as good. So no vig, 165.5 minus 103 would be a fairly good bet. 166, 105 over at Bravada. That's a really good bet. That's a really good bet. I don't know. I don't have access to Bodog. So I'm waiting on that one. When does that game start? That's a late game. We got time. We got time. Okay. Kansas on the money line, minus 175. This one, interesting to me. Also some value on the spread, but I think there's more value. There's more value on the money line. If you want to lay that big 175 number, if you can get anything better than this 175 number, then, you know, you can get even more of an edge. Let's keep going. Tulane or Gators. Here's a Florida Gators playing Auburn today, plus 9.5. Looks like you can get what's our numbers say for this Florida game? Florida versus the Gators. Go Gators. 9, 9, 10. Ooh. Yeah, I'd stay away from this one. I don't like this one. This is basically a rounding situation where we probably make the number like 9.5, to be honest. We're probably right on market. Stay away from that one. What other big matchups? Illinois. Illinois seems like a hot team. A lot of options in this game. If you want to play Illinois, you can play them on the spread for a really small edge. You can play them on the money line for a 2% edge. You can play them on the under for a little bit of value as well. So a lot of options in that Illinois game. Illinois versus Minnesota today. If you want to be a buyer there. What other games? My bookie has Iowa State 15.5 minus 110. Do you have a way to quantify this edge? Or should I play? Yeah, sure. Let's see. Let's take a look. And I can walk you through how to do this, because we give you all the tools, especially for totals. You said Iowa State. Who do they play? Okay. So he has minus 110, 15.5, which is a good news. So first and foremost, let's go here. Let's just we want to understand what the market's been doing, because he could be one step ahead of you. So you could see that the market making books have this, but all of the retail books. Okay, so 16.5. So, you know, he's got a stale line, what we call it, right? This opened at 15.5, and he just hasn't adjusted because the market's moved this. So this is a stale line. So right off the bat, the market would agree to buy Iowa State. It's now steamed up all the way to the 17 number, but again, for you get a 15 number. So again, you can go to our calculator page, click here, go to calculators. You can put current spread minus 15.5, I think, right? Here, I'll zoom in on this. And then, sorry, I got to refresh this. These calculators are not the best, but we're trying to update them. All right, minus 15.5 minus 16. Let's just say we make that the number. And then you can probability without. So it's not the best line in the world. It's not the best cover probability. You're still at minus 110. You're not like doing too much. It's still, I don't know how this is calculating, so I don't know why it's doing this, but I think it's a negative EV bet based off our numbers. Now, if you make this number 17, which is where the market is, it's a good bet. It's a good bet. You can see there. I want to check something here for you. All right, look. Yeah, so Evan makes it 14, KenPom 15, Bartorvik 11. So even though the market's buying, our numbers would not support like that 15 number is really rich. The 16 number is rich. The 17 number is really rich for laying for Iowa. So I don't think it's really that great of an opportunity. But what is a good opportunity is that you have a guy that's allowing you to lay stale lines. I would also use caution betting this because he knows it's stale. Like if this guy's any type of somewhat knowledgeable bookie, he knows that he's right now sitting a point off the market, full point or half a point off the market. In some cases in these retail books, 17 and a half, 16. It looks like the market's kind of moved. Let's I bet you these numbers have been refreshed. Let's take a look. 7 minutes ago. So let's refresh the tool. The prices should have changed. We can. All right, we got Matthew's the only one in here. Come on, guys. What questions you got? We can price any game for today's slates, sides, totals, money lines, and quantify the edge. Make it a good bet. Make it a bad bet. All right. Who did Iowa State play? Who are they playing? TCU. It's at Iowa State. So let's just boom. Iowa, Indiana, Iowa State. Yeah, there you go. Boom. So we're showing value for TCU. So I think it's a stay away via our numbers, but you can use that calculator to help you out. It's free. It's just under calculator on the website. We'll get that refined here this weekend. What are the numbers changed? Have the numbers changed in the market here? I want to make sure. Notre Dame bet. It's right there for the taking. It's right there for the taking. I have bet this Kent State under. Here's another one. Detroit Mercy. We haven't looked at. Looks like that Alabama. Yeah, 160 is moved closer to us. So yeah, I don't know. As much as I want to play it, like it's just not the right price. Just not the right price. What number do we want for Notre Dame total? For Notre Dame total, this thing is moved. It looks like. Oh no, we want the over. We want a 133. 133 and a half minus 105. I'll play it at that number. Really, we to make it 3%, we would need 104, but we're not going to get that. So, whoops, what am I doing? Who does Notre Dame play? Just Notre Dame. Yeah, see, we're playing the over 133.5. It's now moved. Look, some action came in on the under. See, so people, as the limits go up, people are willing to bet smaller edges, right? So it shifted the market. So those 133s are gone. So if you want an over, you gotta, ESPN bets slow right now, but you gotta pay a premium for it. It's not gonna help us. Now you can still get that 106 over at Bet Rivers, which is as close as we're gonna get. And we know that the market agrees with us that this over, it's got value on the over. But I think basically that's it. That's going to be the last opportunity to bet this thing. 133.5 minus 106 over at Bet Rivers. The problem is Bet Rivers, you do that enough, they're going to pop your ass. They will limit you quick. I use that account a lot for football, so I'm not going to go steam. I'm not guys, they know that they're slow. They know this, right? And right now you can just literally, you don't even need a model. You just know, look, all the market makers, meaning other professionals, have bet the 133s, right? Which is what moves them to 134. So then when you take this number and you go to the market and you say, who's dumb and slow? Oh, well, there's Bet Rivers. They know this about themselves. Sorry, I guess you guys can't see that. See, they're 133.5 minus 106. So you can just literally bet. You don't even need a model. You could just use the market to tell you that there's value. But they know this, and then they limit you and they kick you out. And that's the whole cat and mouse game we're always doing. I think I'm going to pull out of this Texas bet. I don't really like betting on sides. I need to come up with a process for injuries. This move back to 3, it looks like. I'm going to cash out. I just don't like it. Oh, my wife just finished. Dang. Wow, that's crazy. All right, I'm gonna hop off here. I'll hop back on here in like 10 minutes. But my I gotta do something. All right, guys. I'm gonna hop off. Get in the tool code. What do we say? CBB20 is the CBB20, 20% off the tool. Get on in there, get it using it. There's some good bets. There's a ton of good bets still left on the board today. So make sure you're pricing your games and you're winning more. All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon. I'll hop on in like 10 minutes.